Welcome back, guys. Last time, I promise. Let's check ourselves. So, the problem here states that green seed color is dominant to yellow seed color. So, remember our steps. Step number 1 is to identify our traits, okay, and assign our alleles. So, it's telling us that dominant alleles are going to be the letter G, because G for green and it's capitalized, so that means a yellow seed is recessive, even though it doesn't say that in the problem, but we know because it says green is dominant to yellow that yellow has to be recessive. So yellow is assigned the allele lowercase g. Now the problem reads that you need to cross a purebred green seeded plant with a purebred yellow seeded plant. Remember, purebred is a synonym for homozygous, which means two of the same alleles in the genotype. So anytime you see purebred green, that means you need to have two capital G's, and purebred yellow, two lowercase g's. So that's our parent cross. And now that we've established our parent cross, we put the first parent's letters across the top and the second parent's alleles down the side in our Punnett square and cross them. Remember, keep dominant alleles first. Every box is going to be the same. Okay, so that means when we figure out our genotypic ratio, we just have to look in the first box. You write down that genotype, heterozygous, capital G, lowercase g, and I found them in 4 boxes, which means that all the offspring that these plant parents have are all going to be heterozygous. So when I interpret that into the phenotype, that means that all of their offspring will be 100% green. Okay. Now, the second part of this problem is problem 2. The reason that you have this is because a couple of your worksheets are going to ask for you to cross the F1 offspring. Anytime you see F1 offspring, it means the offspring from the first cross. So let's go back to the first cross. If we look, all of the offspring in here are the same. The only time a problem is ever going to ask you to cross 2 of the F1 offspring, that's a clue to you that all of the offspring need to have the same genotype. Okay? So when the problem asks you to make your F1 crossed, that's like your parent cross, but it's with those offspring. So we're basically breeding a brother plant with a sister plant. Okay, so it's a little bit of incest going on here. And because they both, doesn't matter if what plant it is, it will have from that, if they're from the same cross, they will have the same genotype. So they're both heterozygous. And we put them on our Punnett square, and then we cross them, right? This first box will be homozygous dominant. The second box will be heterozygous. Third box will be heterozygous. And the fourth box will be homozygous recessive. So I crossed them. Now I figure out their genotypic ratios. And like always, start in the first box, homozygous dominant, write it down. How many boxes? It's in 1 box, so 25%. Move on to the next box in the Punnett square, heterozygous. How many boxes? 2, so 50%. And the last box, homozygous recessive, only in 1 box, 25%. Now we have to interpret the phenotypic ratio. A little bit more complicated. Okay, we're going to have the homozygous dominant being green. Heterozygous will also be green, so we'll actually have 75% of the offspring being green. And the last one, which is homozygous recessive, for yellow seeded plants, will have 25% of their offspring being yellow. So basically the second generation of offspring, the F2, would be 75% yellow, 75% green, 25% yellow.